Hi, Lucy. Welcome to GN Inspire.
Hi, Gladys. Thank you for inviting me. Nice meeting you here.
Yeah, great. Lucy, like I was telling you, I was struck by one of your videos. I was watching doom scrolling on TikTok, and I found your video, and you are like, if I was first here in the US, because you immigrated to the US sometime back, and you are like, I will not get married. And I was like, wait, now I'm curious. I want to hear more. Why are you telling people not to get married when they come here?
No, I'm not saying don't get married, but I was saying that would not have been a priority for me. First of all, my name is Lucy Mwangi, USA on YouTube. I'm here in Delaware. I'm a mother. I'm a nurse. African immigrant. Came to the US more than 20 years ago. So I have a wealth of experience as far as life in America is concerned, as far as immigration, as far as the challenges that we face, as new immigrants in America, and as people who are trying to find a life and balance between life, parenting, work, school, and all of that. So no, I'm not saying don't get married. By all means, if you find a good person, get married. I was saying that I would not have gotten married at the point in life that I did.
Tell us more.
I would have concentrated on my education, because once you get married and you start family life, America is very, very busy. You are torn between your kids, your husband, your work, because it's not like you can just go to school and forget about working. You know, you have to split yourself into like 5 things. And at that time, in addition to me being new here in the US, that was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot for me. So no, I'm not saying don't get married.
Okay. Yeah. No worries. I was just curious. Yeah, so that's why I watched your video, and I will ask my audience to visit your TikTok and also your YouTube to hear the whole story. But I think that was your opening sentence, that I would not get married. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. Yeah, but Lucy, we will cover all that. You've been teaching people ways that they can immigrate to the US if they want, Africans and Kenyans if they want to immigrate. So if you could break down for us, like, what are some of these major ways that people immigrate, and maybe you can also share, I don't know, if you're comfortable, your own immigration story.
Yes, there are very, very many ways. Some of them I didn't even know about until I started doing my YouTube videos and my TikTok videos and watching other people that do similar content, like the Kenyan American Home and Kenya Americani on YouTube. So the big one that people know about is the green card, which is what I cover the most, the diversity visa lottery. I cover a lot of that information on my YouTube channels. I have playlists about that. So if you're interested in that, you can go and check that out. That to me is one of the best ways to come to the US. There's minimal challenges once you get here. Obviously, you're going to incur some expenses when you're trying to process to come to the US, but once you get here, you are in a better position in starting off life if you have a green card, because you get your green card, so you're good to go as far as work. You don't have to worry about ICE or being, pushed around or being given unfair jobs because you don't have papers, So to me, that's one of the best ways to come to the US. There's also student visas. Different kinds of students come to the US to further their education. There's the visitor visa, which of course is not an immigrant visa, but people have come in with that particular visa and they have found ways to adjust their status from that to immigrant visa, and they've gone ahead to get a green card and citizenship. There's not a real immigrant visa, but cruise ships, it's like a transit visa, but obviously if you find someone on the cruise ship and you get married, things can go the other way and you can file for adjustment of status. Just make sure you're doing things the legal way so that you don't suffer the consequences of being here illegally. What else? Work visas. Some people come here directly with work visas, mostly the nurses. We have a lot of nurses here in the US that have immigrated through their jobs, and also like high level professionals, engineers, educators, stuff like that. So multiple ways of coming to the US. If you go to travel.state.gov website, you can go over there on their tab that says US visas, read all about that, see which is suitable for you.
Okay. And do you mind sharing your own?
The way I got here.
Yes.
So I used to work at Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. It's a media company in Kenya. They opened the first FM station back in the day. They were looking for young, fresh people to start that FM station. It was the first FM station in the country. So I was going to some college on the way in the matatu, on the way to college. I heard an announcement saying, "Oh, are you 21 or whatever age limit they had? Are you interested in broadcasting or communication or whatever? Are you young and vibrant and whatever they said?" There was an announcement on radio in a matatu. Make sure you apply. They gave instructions of how to apply. When I got to the college, I was like, wait, I think I can do that. I think I can apply for that. So I got back home and I applied and forgot about it. You go about your life, you go about your business. I finished that particular course that I was taking in Nairobi, and I couldn't find a job right away. So obviously I went back to the village. I come from Bahati in Nakuru. So I found a Juakali job there at home. You know, while you're after high school, you're waiting to see what's going to happen. I had been accepted to go to Nairobi University for Bachelor's of Education. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, I wasn't sure that I wanted to do teaching at that time. So I was in between making decisions. So I went back home, and one of those days, my dad brought me a letter from KBC saying, "You have been invited for the first interview for the job that we announced on radio." So I went, and I couldn't believe, because by that time, KBC was the only radio station in the country. It was Voice of Kenya, and then it changed to KBC. So I was like, okay, this is huge for me. Because I used to hear all these people on radio, talking on radio, and it was a big deal. It was a big deal at that time. So I was like, wacha niende kwani. So my dad gave me money. I traveled back to Nairobi. I stayed with him for a while. I went for the first interview. The lines, I think tulienda Kasarani Stadium. The lines were just curving around. The lines were long. So that was the initial interview of just going through, paperwork. Are you qualified high school? And then it was just something they made you read a paragraph, like you're reading the news in English and in Swahili. And then wakachuja watu, like after that. So they called people for the second interview, the third and the fourth and all that. By the time they got to the final list, we were like 17 people. And those are the ones that were hired for the job. So I was part of that. I was very excited about it. And that's how I started working at Metro FM, one of the first FM stations in the country. So during my working, I was doing some shows that were sponsored by some companies. One of the companies, Coca-Cola, sponsored me to come to Atlanta for a huge promotion that they had. So the goal was for me to come to the world of Coca-Cola, which is in Atlanta, and do like a 10-day trip. Fully paid, all expenses, kila kitu. And so I would go back to Kenya and give my experience so that people can participate in the promotion, because I think they were going to award like 10 people the same trip. So that was the highlight of the promotion. I found myself in the US. I had not ever thought about that. I had not ever thought about leaving. I had not left the country. Before that, I had not traveled. No, I had not. So my first big travel was to the US, to Atlanta, Georgia. That was very, very exciting. So that's how I came to the US, through visitor visa. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about, I have a list of questions here that we will go through. So now take us back. I know we've already talked about one lesson in reflection, and that is what we love to do here on the podcast. That is why I like hosting people to just like reflect and share what they would do differently, lessons they've learned, so that we also learn. Talk about other things. I think you had a list of things that you would do differently, financially, everything. We've talked about the partnership thing, that maybe if possible you would delay marriage or delay having kids or something. Give us maybe top 5, I don't know, things that you would do differently, or things that you did that you did not know were really good steps and you appreciate in hindsight.
Okay.
Yes.
So the financially mostly.
Yes.
And also just knowing the US systems.
Mm-hmm.
I should have taken more time to learn about the US systems once I found, although I didn't have a lot of time to learn them when I was in Kenya. But once I got here, I should have spent more time to learn about the US systems so that the things that were catching me off guard would not have caught me off guard.
Okay.
Things like depending entirely on your spouse. Like, for example, for my case, I was married to an African American. And so when you're new here, you kind of assume that they know better. And all the time, they don't know any better than you. It's just because you haven't gotten time to sit and learn about the systems. So my thing that I would have done differently is doing my own research and not depending on my husband at that time to direct my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And trusting 100% what he was saying and trusting that it was the right thing as far as credit, as far as loans, as far as taxes. So I took his word instead of doing my own due diligence. So what I would say is learn about the systems. Nowadays with digital, it's the digital world. Go on Google, go on YouTube, go on whatever, TikTok. Find out about this thing that you're trying to venture in. Find out about if somebody says you have to file taxes, especially when you're new. What does that involve? What does that mean? What are the consequences of filing jointly with your spouse? What is your spouse's credit score? What have they been filing taxes before? Because what happened for me was he was not filing taxes before. And so when you're jointly married and you're filing jointly, everything that your spouse owes, you become part of that mess. Yes. So be careful about the filing, how you're filing your taxes. Know your spouse, not just lovey-doveys. Dig deeper into your spouse's other things that are going to be very important and they can be either very helpful to you in a marriage or very detrimental, and they can bring you down or raise you up. So it's just a matter of do better as far as your due diligence. The same way you would research a job.
Yeah.
Find out about your spouse.
No, I was laughing, Lucy, because the list that we normally use to get to know people. What is your favorite color? What is your favorite food? So we should also include, have you been filing your taxes? And what is your credit score? Job
history. Have you ever been arrested? Like things like those, because you're now creating a partnership and whatever he does or whatever she does is going to affect you tremendously in life and in finances, in social circles. So maybe you're running around with somebody who has a criminal record and you don't know, and people are just saying, oh my God, Lucy, who did you link up with?
Yeah.
You know? But because you didn't do your due diligence, then you suffer the consequences, because a marriage is not something that you can say, oh, okay, now I'll end it. Once you have things together, trying to do the separation becomes very difficult if you have things in a joint venture. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yep. So the other thing is also listening to other people, not following your guts. Yeah. Not following your guts and then trying to keep up with the Joneses and living above your means and trying to get this car and this house that you can't afford just because your friends are doing the same thing. Do what you can do with what you have so you don't overexert yourself financially, mentally, by the way. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other one?
Those are the major ones. Those are the ones that really kicked my butt. Because, in hindsight, those are the ones. But also on the good side, just being able to go back to school despite the challenges, that was a good thing. So if you're to say some of the good things that I did for myself is at whatever point that I decided to go back to school, just keeping on with it, and just despite having a small baby, despite being new in a marriage, despite buying a house that we couldn't afford and losing the house, despite a lot of things that were going on, I still chose to continue with my education so that it can put me in a better space later. Yeah.
No, yeah. Do you? I don't know if you mind sharing more about, because I think as soon as everyone lands, as soon as everyone lands in the US, there is this American dream, and I think one of it is like you need to buy a home, and they're like all these people telling you get a mortgage and all these things. Do you mind sharing a little bit about your house buying story and maybe lessons lessons and maybe things that people should consider before they jump into that.
Yeah, so the American dream is very vivid in every immigrant until you get here and you realize we're just chasing our own tails. So you have to make your own American dream, form it and chase it. It is not one big dream. Formulate it. There are very many opportunities to make it what you want to make it. But coming in, I thought that, okay, I didn't have a lot of information about immigration. I really didn't. Nile, you just come to the US and you're just overwhelmed and awed by a lot of things and you just don't even know what you're doing. For the first few years, you really don't. So when an opportunity came to buy a house in the US, that's huge for us Africans. And sometimes we don't pay attention to the fine print. So in 2008, there was some financial thing going on in the US. So there was some financial crisis. There were bad loans and people were, any Tom, Dick and Harry could qualify for a mortgage for some reason. Banks were giving bad loans and not worrying about their credit or their ability to pay back. So I was one of the victims. I think there was a class action and we ended up getting compensated later for that. But it was nothing compared to all the damage that had already been done. Knowing what I know now, 2008, there was no way we could have qualified for that house. But because I didn't know any better and I was following obviously guidance from the African American who ended up marrying my late husband. So I just said, we've qualified for this house and now we can move from this apartment. Mark you, at that time, I was in LPN school. My daughter was 2 years old. 2 months old. So I was like, oh my God, I have too much to juggle. Which one should I drop? Which one should I still get a house? I'm not working full time. My husband is working, but he's not making that much money. So we need combined income, right? So I was like, okay, so now what do I do? But I needed to continue going to school because I was a CNA at that time, certified nursing assistant. We don't make a lot of money as CNAs, at least at that time. Right now, yes, you can make substantial. It's not that much, but it's better than before. But of course, the cost of living has gone up, so it cancels. So anyway, I didn't know any better, so we agreed to sign the mortgage. We signed the mortgage. We didn't read the fine print. The interest rate was the one that flips and flops, adjustable. So there's two different kinds. There's a fixed rate that you pay so your mortgage doesn't change at all. There's another one called adjustable, adjusted or whatever. So that means month by month, depending on what's going on in the markets or in the whatever, your mortgage is not the same. So this month it can be $1,300, next month $1,350, next month $1,500. So it changed like that until it got to $2,000 something. I was like, wait a minute, we can afford. And that was back in the day. I don't have a full-time job. And then my husband got laid off. So how are we going to pay for the house? We can't. And I couldn't stop going back to school, because I was almost done with my LPN classes at that time, licensed practical nurse. So we ended up losing the house. We went and lived in some motel or hotel for 6. It was a mess before we found another apartment. So read the fine print. Know what you're signing. If you don't know, don't rush, because once you sign that, it's very difficult to go back. And then once we got the house, obviously it's a big house. To me at that time, it felt big. It's 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, basement, garage. To me, I was living my best life. But then when I realized we can't afford it, I was like, damn, that was bad, because now financially, you struggling, you have a small baby, your husband has been laid off, so mentally you're disturbed, you're far away from home, you don't have a lot of support, so that was terrible. And because we were living in a small apartment before that, once you move to a big house, you want to buy furniture.
Oh yeah,
you want to buy furniture, the latest this, the latest that. So do you have money for that? No. Credit cards. I had not heard anything about credit cards because at home I never had a credit card. Jama tells me, see, you have good credit, because when you come here, you have to establish credit, right? So I had established credit, and there are ways to do that. and I had good, but that time my initial credit score was like 695 or something. So that at that time it was very good, and his wasn't that good. And I'm not here to bash him. It's a life lesson. It's a life lesson, and we all should learn from that. So he said, oh, now you can use that credit to buy furniture, get loans. So me and him went from Depot. We were 1, 2, 3, some places that have these Sherlock loans. What are they called?
Yes.
These bad loans that have high interest rates. We are everywhere. We're in every store buying things on credit. Me not knowing, what does credit mean? What does it mean when I'm swiping this card every time I go to a store? Knowing full well that I don't have a full-time job. How am I going to pay it? He said, see, I make money. I'll be helping you pay the monthly payments. Not knowing that making minimum payments will end up costing you so much more. Not knowing that he'll end up losing his job and he won't be able to help me pay for this. Not knowing that all these cards are under my name. And what does that mean? His credit is never touched. It's just mine. So my credit tanked because you max out your credit cards and now you can't afford. You get reported to the credit bureaus, the phone calls from, the bill collectors. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's one of the worst things that I've gone through here is financial. And it's because partially my fault for not doing due diligence. That's why I do those videos. Yeah.
No, and you're doing great, actually. You're doing great with the videos, and I like how authentic and honest you are. I think, I don't know, did you also speak about buying a car?
Yes.
Yes. Tell us another mistake you made, so that was another thing. As soon as we land in the US, there are these beautiful big cars on the road, and we're like, oh, how can I afford this? And like, you can just take a loan and pay little by little, and then you go for like a high-end car, and then it's a problem now.
Yep.
Yes.
So,
what happened with the car?
So my first brand new car was really nice, and at that time I could afford. So that was not the issue.
Okay.
So the issue became once. So my daughter, she's 21 now, so she drives. So at the age of 16, they're allowed to start driving here. They go to education here in school. They are taught how to drive. So that meant that I needed an extra car. So what I did is I gave her the car that I had because it was safer and she was a new driver. But it got involved in an accident and it got totaled, so I got her a different one. So that meant I needed a car for myself. Luckily, somebody sold me one of their old Ford Explorers from 20 years ago, and that's what I was using. But it was well maintained and it was still good. Somewhere along the line, that one died too. So when that one died, I said, Kwani, say I can afford a new car. I went and got a brand new car. The year, if it's 2023 now, I bought one for 2024.
Is that cash or loan?
What cash?
Okay.
Loan. They say, we're going to look at your credit, and then after that, we're going to see your income, how much you make, and then we're going to find different banks that can extend you the loan. So I qualified, obviously, but without looking at the interest rates. So the interest rates are high depending on your credit. At some point, when life starts getting more difficult, you realize how much that car payment is. Yeah. So it became unbearable, and I was like, did I make the right decision? So that's why I was doing that video. I was like, maybe I should have not bought a brand new one. Maybe I should have just consolidated an amount of cash and just bought a used car instead. Maybe I bit more than I could chew, and a lot of people do that. So just life's lessons. Yeah.
No, so, thank you for sharing. We're definitely learning a lot. Tell us about so 2 things left from your story, and then we'll continue with these other things. So talk about the education. Like, how did you go back to school? I know it's something you really encourage people to go back to school as soon as they can settle in the US, so that they can open themselves up for more opportunities. So if you don't mind sharing, like how you went back to school, like what are some of the resources for say immigrants, resources like scholarships, loans to study, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for one thing that people have to realize, if you don't come to the US on a green card, or a work visa that sets you straight to, especially work visas, they set you straight to the work that you were already doing at home, for example. But for most people, 90%, we have to start from scratch. And it's very, very humbling for a lot of people, because back home, people had big jobs, people had comfortable lives maybe. And coming here to start looking for what to do, trying to fit in with our English and trying to find out, now, what can I do? If you are a teacher before, unless you come directly to be a teacher, if you just came in to try life here, then you have to start from the beginning. Everybody, most people, we have to start from the beginning. What is working for you, especially state by state? So you go by state. What are people doing in this state? Africans, immigrants, what are they doing that is giving them a livelihood? So for me at that time, healthcare was the option. I had never been in healthcare. I had not had any interest in healthcare. It was never on my mind, but that's what was going to help me move on with my life now as I transition. So the CNA classes were free at that time. So I think the state was paying because there was a need for CNAs. So my CNA course was, I think, 7 weeks or something like that. So I got that and I got a job right away. So because there was a high demand. Once I started working for a while, somebody said, you can also do LPN. I was like, what is LPN? I didn't know what these things were. So I researched, I found a college that was, because obviously there was also a demand for nurses also. So I went and did that. So you do the prereqs, you can do financial aid. So financial aid, you have to do that form that called the FAFSA. You have to apply for financial aid. And then if you're a very bright student, obviously they give you scholarships depending on your GPA. There are so many grants that you can get, or you can do like tuition reimbursement. I got that from my job. But tuition reimbursement means if you're a full-time employee, you pay the fees. So let's say your fees are $1,000 a month. So, or whatever you're paying, $1,000 total or whatever. Your school will give you the bill. So you'll pay and then you take the receipt to the school. The school will give you $650 back. So at that time I was getting 65% tuition reimbursement. So I would pay the $1,000 to the school and then my job will refund me $650. So it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. Plus I had qualified for some, I think as one scholarship or something because of a GPA. So things like those can help a lot. Just be good with your grades, by the way. That always helps. Jump on those scholarships and research the scholarships. Some people leave money on the table because they're not looking and they're not aware that they're supposed to be looking, because nobody will come and say, oh, take this scholarship. You have to apply for it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for sharing, Lucy. And let's talk about another elephant in the room, the loneliness.
Oh my God.
Yes, please, because people think maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just an introvert. Let's talk about loneliness, I don't know, depression and community building. Like you literally, I don't know, start from scratch. How do people thrive? How do you build community and not feel lonely?
So I'm also an introvert, but I like my own company. But sometimes you do need external friendships. I keep a very small circle, and that's been for a long time. But sometimes it's about quality and not quantity. Just to have people that you can reach out to in times of happiness, crisis, depression, when you're having kids, when marriage is not going well, when school is kicking your butt, people that you can call and talk to. It doesn't have to be a lot of people if you're an introvert. Some people are outgoing, so they join organizations. There's church organizations. There's WhatsApp groups of Kenyans here, Kenyans there, Kenyans doing this, Kenyans doing that, Kenyan nurses, Kenyan this and that. You can always find a group, Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, something that you can join depending on your interests. But for the most part, found friends at work, friends that became friends up to now. I have friends that I've known for almost 20 something years, and they're still my friends. We've raised our kids together. And if you see them, you think they're my sisters because I'm the only one here. So all my family is back home. So that becomes a very, very big challenge if you don't have support. So find yourself a group, find your crew, find your support system. Otherwise, utatandikwa na depression. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting to. I think many people get shocked by that. Just that it's not easy to make a community, and it has to be intentional thing to do that you need.
Yeah. Also, pick and choose your groups, because some of them can be toxic and some people might not be wanting the best for you. So just pick and choose your circle, and depending on your interest and depending on your values. If it doesn't work for you, don't be afraid to leave the group. You are not tied to that group. You can always exit the group and try something else that is building you and building your values and what you stand for. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So let's talk about if you were to go back to that time. I don't know, you were early 20s or late teens when you were
when I came?
Yes,
I was 20s, late 20s.
Late 20s, so
or mid 20s.
Yeah, if you now assume you are now in your 20s once more, will you choose this path, or do you think you will decide to remain in Kenya, knowing what you know now about the immigrant story?
Oh, I would still come.
Okay.
I would still come. I would just chart a different path. Like I would do things differently, but 100% I would still come to the US, because I don't believe that I would have made the progress that I've made if I was still in Kenya. But you never know. Maybe I would have been a big shot radio personality. As far as the reasons why I decided to immigrate to the US is because I was, I think, the only person in my family that was making a little bit of some sensible money. So when my mom passed away in 2000 and my dad was about to retire, so there was no money coming in, because once you retire you have to wait for that, what's that pension money, for like 2 years or something. So I was like, if I have this opportunity to go to the US, in your head, you know how we calculate the dollars, no matter how small they are. So you say $8, you multiply by whatever the current exchange was at that time. You're like, oh my God, by 1 week, I have made so much money. So in my head, I've educated everybody in the family with this money that I'm getting. So that was the main reason why I came. I was like, if I come to the US, I'll be able to help my family, and I'll help all the kids go back to school, and maybe I'll go back to school. But I had not done my research to see what was really involved in that. I did manage to do that. Whoever wanted to go to school, they went to school, and I helped with that, and I thank God for that, until my dad got his money for pension. So and I helped him until that time. So it wasn't all bad, but knowing what I know now, my God, that $8 that I was talking about is nothing. Is nothing when you get here. Yeah, it's nothing. But I wouldn't change it. I would still come.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And what is one lesson? I know we've talked about, it doesn't have to be related to immigration. It could just be about life in general. Maybe if you were giving this advice to your daughter or to yourself in your 20s, what would you say is one big lesson you've learned in life so far?
Life is not forgiving. Time waits for no man. So if you're supposed to do something, if you feel in your gut and in your soul that you want to do something, do it. Don't be afraid to fail, because in failure we find lessons. In failure we learn. If you're not learning from your failures, then something wrong with you. So learn from your failures. The step backs, don't let them, deter you from moving on. Just learn from them and keep pushing. Keep your head up. Know that there are so many people before you that have failed, but it's in failure that they learn to improve that whatever skill they were trying to perfect. Most of the people that we know about, Akina Bill Gates, Akina who, they failed multiple times before they became who we know now. So while you're failing, most people don't know. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid. Your success comes, and then everybody now knows you once you have succeeded. But if you had failed, and refuse to keep moving, nobody would know about you. And it's not even about recognition. It's about not giving up. Don't give up. When life throws you curveballs, just keep going. Just keep going. Because I have started over so many times here in the US. I have started over so many times to count. But the goal is don't stay down. Just get up and try again.
No, absolutely. Now, I want to talk more about your YouTube channel, but before we go there, give one, I don't know, just if you had 1 minute, 30 seconds actually, to speak to someone who's just bought their ticket, they're just on their plane, and they are DV winners, I don't know, some immigration, they are literally immigrating to the US, particularly from our continent, because I think that is where we have more experience from. So they are preparing to immigrate this month, next month, this year. 30 seconds, what would you tell them?
First of all, educate yourself. Learn about the systems, because the systems are different. Be open to opportunities and learn to notice the opportunities when they present themselves to you. Sometimes they are hidden, sometimes they are obvious. Once you know the systems, it will be easy to avoid things that will tie you up in the future or in the present. Obey the law. My dad told me that when I was coming. He said he was a cop. He was a police office inspector. So he was like, if you obey the law, you will have many more problems in the United States. So I try so much to do what I'm supposed to do. DUIs, Kenyans, we love to don't drink and drive, because that can be the beginning of your problems. Domestic violence, don't do that. Obey the law. Be open to opportunities. This is a land of opportunity. Welcome to America. Read the fine print.
Yes, and take care of your credit score. And when you are dating, ask people.
Oh my God. By the way, when you have a green card, you are a target for other people who think that you should marry them, so that they can get that benefit. So protect your green card. Don't just get married to any Tom, Dick, and Harry just because they want to get papers. That's another thing that I usually tell DV winners, especially when they are single. You don't know whether somebody is trying to befriend you because you have a green card. Know about their immigration status. Know what are they doing? What are they doing? Because that's now openly spoken. People now speak about immigration. Before, people didn't want to talk about how they came to the US, what is their status, like what process did they go through. But now I think because of social media, things are now open. It's okay to ask somebody, what process are you going through? So that you can know, do they really want me for my papers, or do they really, like, what's going on with them? I want to know.
Yeah. No, it's actually good you've brought that up also, the DV. I think you've been doing a lot of DV interviews and DV videos. And I know that is, I don't know if I'm correct to say that is the largest numbers of people who come to the US from Kenya. I'm not sure if you know the number.
Mostly, and then students.
And then students.
Yeah,
so,
mostly students, yeah.
Okay, so what I don't know what you can tell us in 1 minute about DV. There is a question that people told me to ask you because they saw your DV videos, and people are like, I've applied 5 years, I've never gotten, and then there is someone who applied last year and they got it, and people are having this debate about, you need a black background or you need a red background or you need, I don't know, in your photo, etc. Demystify, like just tell us what you know so far about DV, and people assuming someone is trying to apply for the lottery.
All I know is that there's no really trick. There's no trick. It depends on your luck. It's a lottery, so there is pata potea. There are people that win it and there are people that lose it. The percentage of people that win is lower than the ones that. So obviously, if you follow the instructions to the T, most of the time it's the picture. The picture, if it's bad, so your ticket gets disqualified automatically. So make sure your photo follows the specifications. I have a video on that, step by step, how to take the videos. If you don't know how to do that, you can go to travel.state.gov. It gives the stipulations. But Kenya, we don't want to do research. Kenyans, we want somebody to just come hold our hands until the end. Please do your research. Go to those websites and read read the instructions. Most of the times we don't pass exams, or we don't get the job, or we don't get what we're supposed to get because we didn't read the instructions. We didn't follow what we are supposed to do. So the picture, it's a plain white or off-white background. It has specifications about the face, the glasses, the headphones, the earrings, the whatever, the hat, all that. It tells you what to wear, it tells you how to pose, it tells you to face the camera straight and not smiling, none of that. So if you follow those specifications, they take a professional picture, your chances become higher. Okay. The eligibility, if you are coming from a country that is not eligible, why are you applying? You're not going to get it, So look at that. If you don't have a high school diploma, why are you applying? And if you don't have a job that qualifies you to participate, don't apply and then say, I didn't get it. It's because you don't qualify to participate in it. So things like those, most of the people are just disqualified because of eligibility or the photo. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like there is, I don't know, especially from Kenyan mindset, we feel like maybe there is someone sitting behind the computer hating on you. So if you
connection.
Yes. So if you've not gotten it so far, just keep trying and follow the instructions like Lucy said. And now this is a good point to mention about your YouTube channel, Lucy. What do you call yourself in YouTube and then also TikTok? What inspired your YouTube? I know you are celebrating your 50th birthday. Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you very much.
It's not very common. I think YouTubers are like younger, these people. Yeah, so I'm curious to know what inspired you to be on these internet streets and what you do on YouTube and TikTok. Take it away.
Okay. So Lucy Mwangi USA on YouTube, on Insta, and on TikTok. And I'm Lucy Mwangi on Facebook. I started my YouTube channel because of those things that I mentioned before, the mistakes that I made and things I wish somebody knew, somebody told me. In essence, I was starting this YouTube channel to educate myself. And while I'm educating myself, I'm telling myself these things. Like if somebody had told me these things when I was coming through, even just send me an email telling me, Lucy, when you get here, this and this and this is going to happen. Expect this. Know that this is going to happen. Be prepared mentally for this, that, and the other. So I started the YouTube channel just to give information, to share my life as an African immigrant, and also to do research about ways to come to America and share that with people. So TikTok, I do TikTok for fun, to be honest. TikTok, I do it for fun. I do short clips of same thing, life in America and ways to come to the US.
Okay, great. What has been, I don't know if you through your YouTube channel journey so far, has there been like, is there one video you're really proud of? I don't know, maybe a video that did really well, or I don't know, just a video you are proud of, or a proud moment, maybe also a low moment in this journey of content creation.
Content creation is it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You gotta show up every day. Don't be afraid of what people initially. When we start the channels, you're afraid, oh, my family will see this, or my friends will see this. What will they think? What was I talking about? Sometimes you post a video, you're like, what was that? you know, editing, it's still up to this time, we're still trying. These are things that we learn on the job. I had to go to YouTube videos and TikTok videos to learn about how to do these things. And there's so many things that are coming up now. Before you learn this thing, a new thing has come up. So it's kind of difficult sometimes to keep up, but you have to show up. You have to show up. The videos that have done well for me are the DV videos. Those ones I have a huge following from Africans and other people in other countries that want to come to the US through the DV. There's a video that I did that it's called I'm Tired. It's one of the videos that I have been very honest. I didn't edit that video. I did not. I took one shot. I was tired of being in the US. I was tired of life here. I was ready to go back home. And it gets to a point where mentally you're exhausted. And I just turned the camera on and I just spoke my heart at that time, what was going through. So many challenges, sometimes with the lack of family support and all that. You feel like you're in a bubble and you feel like there's no end to the things that are happening. It's like a rat race. That's what I was saying in that video. You're chasing your tail every day. You're trying your best. You're working hard as a nurse. You're working hard as a parent. You're trying to go to school to make your life better. You're supporting people back home. You're one person and you're just stretched too far and too thin and wide. So that video, it has done very well. It was very well shared and widely shared. A lot of people came through on the comment section, and I realized that I'm not the only one going through that, and it opened up a lot of conversations about people suffering silently and being afraid of talking because they're afraid of what people are going to say. So it was a great opportunity for interaction with other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I actually watched it. I think I watched that. You were shooting it in a car.
I was shooting it in a car. I was pissed off with life.
Yes. No, I loved it. I found it was so raw and honest. And it's commendable because not many people can be raw and honest like that. We like to brush ourselves before we share things on the internet.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, perfect. Is there anything else? I don't know if there is anything else we should touch on when you think about the whole journey, applying for those immigrant visas and then the journey to the US and then thriving in the US. We obviously cannot exhaust everything, but I don't know if there is anything else we should touch on.
A lot of people ask, how can I come to the US? And I ask them, have you applied for the DV lottery? No. Why not? They don't have time. It takes less than 15 minutes of your time to apply. Even if you are in the US and you're not an immigrant, you have a non-immigrant visa, you can always apply every year. It's going to be open in October of this year, the 2027 DV. Why don't you just give it a shot? Most of the people that apply do not even expect to win. The ones that don't expect to win are the ones that win. First-time applicants. They apply and they come. Make it as one of those annual things that you do before they make it that we have to pay. Remember, they were trying to make us pay $250 just to apply, but that did not pass. So before they make it that we have to pay to apply, while it's still free, just go on there and apply. When it opens, I'll do a video to remind you that it's open. It's a very short period of time. I think it's about 4 weeks that it's open, 4 or 5 weeks, and then they close for that year. So just apply. Find different ways of coming to the US, make them legal. And then who knows? Who knows? You can find your dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
They will. Yeah. I will encourage my audience who are interested about deep diving into immigration pathways and immigration stories to come visit Lucy Mwangi USA. And yeah, your TikTok are interesting. So I've been laughing and learning at the same time. So keep it up.
Thank you. You know, congratulations on your education achievements, Dr. Yeah, I didn't know about your YouTube video until you texted me on TikTok.
No?
So I was like, okay, let me go see if she has a YouTube channel. So I went and found your channel. So you're doing an amazing job as far as inspiring young generation and even the older generation, because we go back to school even when we are old. So congratulations on all the academic achievements and everything you've achieved in life.
Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Lucy. When you have a session for educational scholarship etc on your channel, I'm happy to come over there.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much and enjoy. If nothing else, enjoy the rest of the long weekend.